Shalom. First and foremost, I'd like to give all praise to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Rakakadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles, a great millstone who are teaching this truth in sincerity. And a shout out to Yakin that's out there on the four corners of the earth proclaiming this truth. Barak the Yahweh, Barak the Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Rakakadash, Barak. So here we are in the midst of the aftermath of the Passover. As you know that as our last day of the Passover was yesterday, look at what was happening. Russia, which is known as MaGog in the scriptures, is now being a guard unto Venezuela, has moved in their troops and also supplied Venezuela with the S-300 systems, the same systems that defended Syria, Damascus, when the U.S. decided that, oh, well, based upon this false flag, similar to one that's just happened with, the supposed rocket attack against Tel Aviv, as if you believe that that wasn't well coordinated, because let's face it, they always do a false flag to blame someone else. And in this case, what had happened is the U.S. decided to attack Syria based upon the white helmets, false evidence. And that's another thing that just happened over the weekend as well, is that Hamas was also gassed, but you see they're not going to use that, even though that attack actually happened. But you see, the reason they won't use that for a false flag is because too much evidence proves that it was the terrorists that did that. You know, the remaining terrorists that be in Hamas, Idlib province. So, of course, they can't provocate that to say the Assad government did that when they are actually, liberating those areas from the terrorists. You know, I'm surprised that they're not, but nonetheless, though, that's happened, which the media is silent about, unless you watch RT or alternative media. We, the elect, watch plenty of the alternative media because we know that the rest of the Zionists who run the media, the Amalekites, the gutter rats that run the media, you know, they're going to lie to you. You know, just like the supposed rocket attack that hit Tel Aviv. And now, Donald J. Trump going out there proclaiming that the Golden Heights belongs to Greater Israel, because there's a Greater Israel project, which is what this war is about. The Greater Israel project, which is, Amalek, the bastard dwelling in Ashdod, is drawing the men of war into this. But the Most High is the one that's controlling this whole thing, in the Valley of Yehoshaphat, the Valley of Decision. And you can see, though, that that's right there, They want to pretty much control all of Syria and all of that region, all the way over to Iraq, which is why they've been using the Kurds to help maintain that. But they got all the oil ports of Syria. They control the majority of this, the SDF, and you got the occupation of the Golden Heights, which all that belongs to Syria. And that's what this war is about as well. But the men of war drawing near. Let every man draw near into the Valley of Yehoshaphat. So we're watching that befall. And so a false flag event also had taken place. A supposed rocket attack did hit Tel Aviv, and now they're pretty much attacking Gaza, and of course they're going to say that Hamas attacked Tel Aviv, when in fact the Hamas terror group, which they control both sides, by the way. Again, that's a proxy group that Greater Israel, the Zionists, use as a means to attack Palestine and occupy Palestine, because that's what it is, because you got infighting, because both sides are Amalek, because there was the split of the Khazarian Empire. Half of them became Muslim, and the other half became the so-called Jewish, because they didn't want to call themselves Amalek. They wanted to call themselves anything but. And so they either converted to Judaism, which is a cult of its own, has nothing to do with the Bible, and then the other half converted to Islam, to hide themselves. And that's what they do, because look at what happened during the Ottoman Empire. They annexed pretty much the majority of the Armenians, which are the real Syrians. They love to change landmarks and names of people, and call it something else. So, pretty much to be a Syrian, nowadays, you just have to be one that lives in Syria to be a Syrian. So you got a lot of mixed races in there, and that's how Esau gets in. Because the very word Arab means mixed race. Doesn't mean that he's necessarily Ishmael, he's just mixed in there. You see what I'm saying? But then you got our people, Israel. The real 12 tribes of Israel, that be mixed among that. Because, again, we've been scattered to the entire world. All the nations, so therefore we're going to come out looking like the other nations. And that's just something else that these, you know, don't expect vocab or anybody else to get it, but it's fun to kind of show the music, you know, as to these entertainers that are confused their faces. You know, like I just did one on Lisa Stansfield and Taylor Dane. I always wanted to do that video. I just, you know, this ain't the time so much, but now's the time, you know, because we got so many other things that are going on. We see biblical prophecy being fulfilled, especially the least of their flock drawing them out. So that brings us to Jeremiah chapter 49, leading to the destruction of Damascus. And Jeremiah 49 is just good for lots of things, but most of all, though, you know, it talks about the destruction of America. So I'm going to start in verse 18. As in the overthrow of Sodom and Gomorrah, and the neighbor cities thereof, saith the Most High, no man shall abide there, neither shall Son of Man dwell in it. Let's talk about this place, Babylon the Great, also known as Bozrah. Behold, he shall come up like a lion from the swelling of Jordan against the habitation of the strong. And who's the habitation of the strong? You know, well, think about the areas. Golan Heights is in the Jordan right there. So, you know, there's that territory there. And these Zionists want the Greater Israel project. So they are going to fight against Syria over it. And pretty much the rest of the world that disagrees with that. Because, of course, you know, the Golan Heights does not belong to the Zionists. It does belong as a part of Syria. But you see, that's just it. The least of their flock, them gutter rats, them fake-ass Jews, are bringing everybody into it. And that was the whole plan all along, because Albert Pike said that this third woe, the Third World War, would be fought over Zionism, over Islam, and over Christianity. And all three of those are controlled by the Edomites, the red Hebrew Edomites. But I will suddenly make him run away from her. And who is a chosen man that I may appoint over her? For who is like me? And who will appoint me at this time? And who is that shepherd that will stand before me? So he's looking for his elect men to stand before him. You know, come out here and teach and to proclaim this word. Who's going to do that? You know? And that's another thing. Why wouldn't you want to do that? Do you just want to be a commoner? You know, sadly, 2/3 of our people just want to be commoners. Yeah, man, I want to be with you, Yahushua, in the decision-making that goes on. You know, I don't want to be just a commoner. I've been a commoner here on this side. Been a commoner all my life. But I was always meant to be a king. That should be the mentality of we the elect, that we were meant to be kings. Therefore, hear the counsel of the Most High, that he hath taken against Edom, and his purposes, that he hath purposed against the inhabitants of Teman. You know, talking about you red Hebrew Edomites and your councils. Surely the least of their flock, which is talking about them gutter rats, Amalek, them fake Jews, shall draw them out. Surely he shall make their habitations desolate with them. So in other words, they're going to make this move and they're going to die there. You know, the earth is moved at the noise of their fall. This is talking about, you know, the armies that are going to die over there. At the cry of the noise thereof was heard in the Red Sea. You know, a lot of killing is going to take place very shortly here. And we're starting to see it move. Behold, he shall come up and fly as the eagles. We're talking about Babylon the Great, America, and spread his wings over Bozrah. And at the day shall the heart of the mighty men of Edom be as the heart of a woman in her pangs. So, in other words, when the Most High comes to redeem his elect and to judge this place by destroying it, along with the nuclear missiles, yeah, it's going to be like a woman in travail, man. You know, and this is after the mark of the beast has already been passed, and you know, pretty much those that took the mark of the beast will be judged by this nuclear judgment, as well as them chariots, and they're going to destroy all the wicked cities and the councils thereof. But at the same time, over there in the valley of Yehoshaphat, verse 23, concerning Damascus, Hamath is confounded, and Arpad, and that's talking about you know, pretty much North Africa and the Middle East. For they have heard evil tidings, they are faint-hearted, there is sorrow in the sea, it cannot be quiet. You know, this is talking about that war that everybody's being drawn into. Them gutter rats, them fake-ass Jews are drawing everybody into it to defend Zionism, in which Zionism is just another, well, that's pretty much, it was the Zionists that founded this place, you know, that sold us into slavery. Damascus is waxed feeble and turneth herself to flee, and fear has seized on her. Anguish and sorrows have taken her as a woman in travail. Yeah, because these gutter rats are going to eventually destroy Damascus. You know, along with, you know, all the other allies that it has, but it only has really one ally. You know, the whore, Babylon the Great, and the whore, Babylon the Great, is also being destroyed at the same time. How's the city of praise not left, the city of my joy? Therefore her young men shall fall in her streets, and all the men of war shall be cut off in that day, saith the Lord of hosts. And that's talking about when this place, America, Babylon the Great, has been destroyed in 1 hour. The judgments come at that same time, and at the same time Damascus falls. So we're getting really close to this. But before this happens, the mark of the beast will be passed, and you can see that this being the year of Karabba, more and more push for the mark. And I will kindle fire in the wall of Damascus, and it shall consume the palaces of Ben-Hadad, which is another term for the leader of Syria. So it shall consume all the palaces of Syria, you know. And we are seconds away from that, you know. We're so close at this last minute of the last hour. You know, once midnight strikes, you know, pretty much we're in the last hour, you know. And if we don't want to be caught up in that, we got to come out here and teach. We got to stay strong, keeping the laws, the statutes, the commandments to the best of our abilities. And most of all, though, not growing weary, but just holding on, just holding steadfast until that day cometh. With this thing kicking off, you can see, though, that more and more is happening. More moves are happening, you know, because why do we do the Passover? So that way, those of us that are keeping to this will not be judged along with the rest of the world that's being judged right now. For all that, I want to say, Barak the Yahweh, Barak the Yahweh Shai, Bashim Rukal Kadash, Barak Done. Hope this has been edifying. Death to America and death to you 2/3. I don't want to repent. Shalom.